Now, for more on climate change, I spoke to Ranping Song. He's an expert who's worked for years on climate change in China. And I asked him what he's expecting to develop during President Xi's visit to the White House.
I do know that, the recent progress, since last year, then the historic announcement between U.S. and China, and then there's actually very steady progress towards that. There's actually a lot of concrete action. So it's just going to, beyond just the, grand targets that was announced last year. And earlier this year, actually, a couple of weeks ago, there was a major announcement in LA. So these cities and provinces actually announcing new targets and committing to peak their emissions. So I think that's actually contributing a lot to their climate negotiation, but I don't know whether they will make new announcement before.
Well, I want to ask you about the significance of that summit in Los Angeles, the U.S.-China Climate Leaders Summit. China and 5 U.S. states signed deals to combat climate change. How important was it ahead of President Xi's visit to the United States? And what do you think of the accomplishments that were made there?
Actually, that was pretty significant. Actually, having those conversations ahead of Xi's visit to the States actually demonstrate that how cooperative, actually constructive, that the two countries can work together in the field of climate change, and then how different countries actually can benefit together as well. The cities and states actually are committing those new targets and actually new actions, that they're not just doing that just because of, just this sounds good. Actually, they're also demonstrating that they're understanding the underlying economic benefits, and they're seeing the real benefits, from environmental science, from social science to economic science. So I think that's a really concrete progress, and you can see that these cities and provinces actually they're basically committing to 3 things. They're committing to peak earlier. They're committing to to public report their inventory, and they're committing to draft and release a climate action plan. So this is we have much more confident about what's going to come out of this commitment. We have much more confident about this. It will actually happen, and this will be actually be trackable and be reportable.
China and the U.S. have actually taken the climate change lead on the global stage. Are you optimistic about these new goals, these new targets that both sides are pledging to make before the ones they set forth back in November? Are you optimistic about that?
I'm pretty optimistic about that. I think the two countries that, it demonstrates that the two countries, the leader of the two governments, understand that, action on climate is not just for I think, yes, they're good for public good. They understand that it's actually good for their own economy, good for their own society, and that's of their own national interests. And then they also showcase that by working together and along with others, that they can take the doubt away, put aside the doubt of where the other country will be leading, will be working on that, and they're sure, they're confident that the two biggest emitters are taking actions and will have a really good example to other countries, other developing countries and developed countries, that there's no doubt that action is being taken, and it's the time to take action. It's the time to pass, to wait, and for other guys to act. Is already in history, and we should move forward.
That being said, what do you hope to hear and see during the United Nations General Assembly next week and during the big climate change summit in Paris in December? Do you think that other countries will take the lead from China and the United States?
I think that, for example, in the new Sustainable Development Goals that being announced next week and discussed in New York, that's also already very mainstreaming a discussion about climate change and actions on energies and climate actions. So that's actually a really good example to showcase that this has been accepted universally as an important goal and important target for the global countries to tackle. And I think there's still challenges, and there's multiple steps need to be done. But we're also seeing very promising signs for all the countries. They're coming together and they're coming closer to reach an agreement.